There's no picture.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. I kind of wish we could get music on here, but that requires me to really put more effort into this than now.
Especially for the first episode.
Yeah, especially for the first episode. You are listening. It's amazing how I was able to get a title for this fucking show than the movie one. But yeah, this is our new show on the Bloody Screen podcast known as Men Without Tights, where we talk comic book stuff. Just, if it deals with comics, we'll talk with it. So, we're not gonna just stick with the books in general. We're not gonna stick with them funny books. We'll talk about TV or movies or video games or toys, I guess. I don't know. Anything else that deals with comics or comic-related stuff or anything to do with even just graphic novels in general.
Still technically a comic.
Yeah, technically. I don't know, I always thought, people, you get those hardcore people where they don't count anime as a comic, but they don't, I was like, that's still, if it has pictures and it's a book, it's still a comic book, in my opinion. You could call them graphic novels, you can call them whatever, you can call them hentai, whatever, it's still a fucking comic.
Yeah.
And I have the guy who knows more about comics than me, Nick.
Hi.
Yeah, folks, people who actually listen to our shows. Yeah, he's been on, you weren't on last week. Well, you were on the week before, so I guess you have been on lately. More lately than Scott has been, let's put it that way.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But, that's because some of us have work.
And I'm sorry, I was working at that place you both work at before both of you work there, so I don't want to hear about that. But anyways, yeah, the comic stuff. We don't, we can't do the traditional thing we do with the other two shows where we go through a top 5 and all that bullshit because, well, there is no top 5 in comics. There, people don't record that shit. No one's like, well, how many people bought the Green Lantern comics? Like, no one.
Green Lantern number 17 today? What up?
I know, honestly. So we gotta change around the show a little bit. So we'll talk about some news that maybe, it sucks though. All I can find in comic news is the fucking stuff to do with TV shows and movies. Like,
So, the Agents of
yeah,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
we're actually going to talk about that today, because, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe talk about Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit,
Talk about Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and then we're also going to do something, since this is our first show, I'd like to get that crap out of the way of what is our favorite blah blah blah. So, just in case if we get big and people start really asking us, if you start getting those questions, what's your guys' favorite? Like, go to episode 1. We talk about what our favorite blah 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 is. But first, before we get started with the rest of the show, we got to talk about one comic-related thing, Man of Steel.
Oh God, Man of Steel, yes.
Talk about, this is just me, Nick. It's the same thing I say after I saw the Nolan Batmans. I think all the other Superman movies now are garbage.
Well, I've always thought that. I thought Superman 2 was the only one where I was like, it's okay, I guess. But 1, 3, 4, and 5, well, Returns were just, those were like the worst movies ever.
I have to agree. Yes, I hate all those other ones. Returns legitly made me angry. But I liked 2. I really did like 2. I was like, 2 is a good movie, at least it's, that one Superman movie I could say, well, at least I like 2. I don't know, after seeing this, I'm just like, 2 is kind of stupid compared to this. Like, as in kinda, that's me being very polite. 2 is fucking moronic compared to this. Wow. This movie, I got kind of lazy and I kind of stopped doing the written reviews for, like, movies and stuff because, goddamn, that's just, when you do all the shit I do, I'm gonna continue to do it for video games, but for movies, I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna talk about them. With the Man of Steel, like, holy shit do I love this movie. This is one of those movies where it's, it's perfect mix between a great storytelling and high octane action. It does not suffer from a lot of action films that are like Michael Bay-ish, where it's just too much shit going on. Where you're just like...
And they lack story.
Where all they care about is just... All the characters are there for is to move you from one explosion to another. This one does it really well. And honestly, it's my second favorite origin story. like, wow, was this a great origin story? We never really get to see a Superman origin stories except Smallville.
Yeah, and then, I will say I like how they didn't waste half the movie in the beginning just talking about his origin. They just bounce back and forth.
I like that a lot, too. I like how they'll be like, oh, here's his origins. Oh, here's what's going on now. And then, like, if they have an excuse, basically they use to go back to his origins for any time he has to travel or something. When he has to move from point A to point B, they're like, oh, well, let's talk about his life. And I do have to say, son of a bitch that guy gets around in that beginning. Like, somehow he goes from, oh, he's a fisherman to working with the government on, as a handyman or something. I don't know what the fuck he's doing up in Antarctica. But, yeah, yeah, that was really cool.
Up in Antarctica? Really?
Oh, I don't know where the fuck he was.
Well, first off, Antarctica.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, okay. Whatever. It was up in north. You know what? If you're in the North Pole and you walk south enough, guess what? You'll be in Antarctica. So I don't even fucking hear it.
And that's not going up. That's going down.
If you walk up enough, eventually you go down. So I don't want to hear it. Anyways, yeah. He was up north, like, really up north. And yeah, yada, yada, yada. But you know who I really thought was outstanding in this movie, who I did not suspect I would like at all? Michael Shane as General Zod.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I did not expect I would like him at all because I wasn't really the biggest fan of his, because he's really kind of a low name compared to, well, I guess, I would have actually preferred Russell Crowe as Zod, but you know what? I think Michael Shane did. Yeah.
He did a good Jor-El.
Yeah, he did a good Jor-El. They actually gave Jor-El a point in this movie. Unlike the other Superman where he's just kind of like, you will fight for justice. And he's like, okay. This one actually...
And they gave a personality, not like the other ones where, honestly, at first I thought they were going to do this thing where they just get the big name actor and kill him off in the beginning and you never see him again.
Which they do, but yeah, at least you see him again. That's all I can say. And what's even better though, is even though after he's dead and all that and years later, and he's a computer program, he's still able to interact as if he was real. Like he speaks to them as if he sees them and as if he's standing there. And I'm like, that's really cool that he's not just a computer program. What was his name? Kal-El. Yeah, goddamn. I'm off today. Alright, yeah. He's just, he's just like, I hope this is you standing here, not some government asshole, I do think it's funny you pointed out, though, there's a little flaw in the movie. Which, I don't know if we should get into that little weirdness. If that'd be spoiler shit. About how he gets his suit.
Well, I wouldn't really consider that a spoiler. It's Superman.
Sure, okay.
You should. I think the only spoiler in the movie is the end.
Great ending. But yeah, basically, as you pointed out to me, you said somehow his dad was able to have this suit on Earth thousands of years before any of those events that happened on Krypton, just able to fit him.
Oh yeah, because they said that ship had been on Earth for like 100,000 years.
I was like, well, that's kind of fucking convenient now, isn't it?
And it just happens to have their family name engraved on it and be the perfect size for Kal-El.
No, honestly, he's like, son of a bitch, that guy planned ahead. He's like, well, my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, And, I thought that was really cool. And I thought how they actually showed Superman as more of an outsider was amazing. Like, he was not just this, oh, look at him, he's just an overly muscular, nerdy guy. Ho, ho, ho. No. Like, he was like, oh, what's wrong with this dude and shit.
Oh yeah, and a drifter moving from place to place so that no one knew who he was.
Yeah, I was digging the bearded Superman, though. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. That's what we need. More bearded Superman. Until he shaves.
Although I will say though, when he first puts on his suit, he probably, and they fix it later, but he really needed to shave his chest when he first put it on because he had some straggly chest hairs hanging out.
I did not pay attention to that. Oh, I gotta ask though, how was your theater experience with that movie? You saw a midnight premiere. I saw an exclusive Walmart bullshit premiere.
My theater was fine. It was, everyone was quiet and.
Oh, thank you, Lord. Okay, nah, that's good.
Honestly, it was basically a bunch of fangirls.
Oh, really? I'm not really expecting that, being that. You know, as Superman is kind of a household name, but I don't know a lot of people who are, like, in love with Superman. You know? I don't know.
It was actually majority girls in the theater.
That's one. Awesome. That's two. I wish one of them would have dressed up like Supergirl. Honestly, I don't know. A big busty chick with a short skirt on, I just think that's awesome.
Most of them just put on, the tablecloth cape or whatever. One dude actually came in full costume.
Good. You know what? I was kind of an asshole and I did not realize what I did until I was at the theater. I wore my Batman shirt. I happened to just pick it up because my work gave me a free screening, of course. And, they gave me a free screening, so I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll go for free. And so I went home real quick, changed out my work clothes, and all of a sudden I was just like, oh yeah, I just put on oh well, fuck it. I mean, no one said shit to me. It was kind of weird. But I do have to say, the box office people can make you feel like a moron though, when you go up there with that little, like, it's not like I got a free a movie ticket or anything. I get this little thing saying, you can see it at 7 o'clock. I'm like, okay. I take it up to the box office guys. They're like, yeah, you just go in. I'm like, it should say it somewhere on the fucking ticket that this is the ticket. Not, go redeem it at the box office. It doesn't say shit. It just says be there at 7. I'm like, give me something here, guys. And they were...
Right.
I don't know. They were strict, though. Me and Dustin both had to show our little pass to get in the door to this theater. I was like, fuck.
Did they have the metal detectors?
No metal detectors.
Because that's what they had when me and Nick went to go see Internship.
Really?
Huh. Yeah, and you had to turn in your phone.
God, I wish I had that. No, it was a weird... No, they just made sure we were allowed to be in that screening, so that was interesting. I thought it was funny how I got it for free because no one bought no one bought them. So they were just handing them out. I thought that was just hilarious, but, whatever. Yeah, anyways, out of our scale, what would you rate this movie, though? What else do you want to add to this movie? I have one more thing I forgot.
This movie is amazing and you have to go see it?
That is one thing. I've been telling everybody to go see it. No one's believing me for some reason. They're like, well, I don't know. It's a Zack Snyder. It's like, shut up about the Zack Snyder shit. Honestly, you honestly don't even know he directed this. This is like his Dawn. You know how great the remake of Dawn of the Dead was? This is his other Dawn of the Dead, where he remade Superman, and he did it amazing. Granted, Nolan and I think David S. Goyer helped out a fucking lot.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure they sat him down. Just okay, Zach, look at me. No slow-mo.
Yeah, honestly, they're like, no slow-mo. But what about my visuals? You could keep the visual stuff because this movie is fucking beautiful. Did you see it in 3D? No, neither did I. Yeah, I don't know I heard the 3D was pretty damn cool. I personally didn't go see it in 3D because I'm not the biggest believer in 3D. I would rather just have it look better.
Like I've said. I have a 3D TV. I can watch that movie in 3D any goddamn time I feel like.
TV? I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah, I can watch Superman 2 in 3D if I wanted to.
I don't know how, the only thing I can picture in 3D for some reason with that movie is when he rips off the S and throws it at Zod. I did kind of miss, cause in this movie Zod has all those, has actually kind of a small army. Or at least a handful of guys. Unlike in the first one where he only had 2 other people. I do like how this one, though, they don't just throw them in a piece of glass or whatever and they go, no! I thought that was so fucking stupid.
Yeah, they're actually banished to another dimension.
And it's actually, the death toll in this goddamn movie is ridiculously high. They don't show a bunch of people dying, but if you get down and deep into it, you're like, there's no fucking way all these people got out of there. It just in the fights alone when they're Superman's fighting Zod's men, which I thought was an awesome scene just to begin with. They're flying through buildings, blowing up gas stations. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's no way you're not killing some people here. And then the end climax, that is like a fucking, I just wanted to, I wish they had a death toll on the side with the number just going, zzz. I'm just like, yeah, fucking hey, you're killing an assload of people. That's a big city.
Yeah, but that city makes a comeback.
It does. It's like, the Gotham City. It's just like, how do you guys keep coming back from this shit? You guys have some, at least that one Carl's Jr. commercial makes sense. They're like, yeah, we're constantly getting worked because of this asshole, and then Superman comes down. Like, yeah, that's fine, dude. I'll enjoy this cheeseburger instead of working like construction workers like to do. You could totally tell they were union. Alright. Overall, on our rating scale, what would you give Superman?
I'd give it an A.
I'm with you. This is honestly, I told you this yesterday, I think. This is probably going to be our biggest summer blockbuster. In my opinion, this probably is going to be Iron Man.
Iron Man, but we still got the Wolverine to go through.
I'm sorry, I'm excited for that movie, but in the retrospect between both of those, people still have the bad taste in their mouth from Origins. I don't think it's gonna, I think people are gonna be iffy about it at first. It's not gonna be huge. You're still gonna get the fans like you and me, and everyone who likes anything to do with comics. Well, like honestly, I know you're with me on this. If it has anything to do with comics, I'm gonna go see it. I don't give a shit if I even gave a crap about that character. I'm gonna see it. I mean,
hell, they're making an Ant-Man movie. I'm gonna go see that.
I was about to say, for fuck's sakes, we saw the Green Hornet movie.
Yeah, that was bad. And Green Lantern. Saw Green Lantern too.
I didn't see Green Lantern theater. I mean, this is before. The Green Lantern was a little before. The only one I'm really excited for, really, is Kick-Ass 2.
God, I love Kick-Ass movie.
I'm tempted to, now we're starting up this, I think I'm gonna start find one of those compilation books or whatever the fuck they're actually called. The ones with
compendiums.
Yeah. I don't know. Some other dude called them like something with an A. Like an Annibus or something like that. I'm like, what? And I was in a comic shop and asked him about the Watchmen thing that I got. And I was like, do you have one of these? He's like, Annibus or something? I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? And he's like, no, we don't sell that. And I was like, this is an honest to God, just comic book shop. Doesn't sell anything else. He doesn't have it. I go to this place in Oklahoma known as, what the fuck is this place called? I don't know. It's basically a thrift shop, but for like geeky people like us, where they have a bunch of movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, video games.
The one down in the Springs that I go, they sell comic books, they sell board games, volumes, compendiums, magic cards, and other trading cards.
That's basically what the store was. And I found the Watchmen thing there for like $20. I'm like, fuck yeah. And they had a lot of those. I'm planning on going to that comic shop off 104th. That's the closest one I could think of to us. Unless you know of a closer one.
Nope. Like I said, the only one I know of is down in the Springs.
Well, they have Mile High Comics, but I think that's off at 80-something, and that's not really that close. But Mile High, I don't know about that. Yeah. Anyways, we're just talking local shit, so if you're from Colorado, you know exactly what we're talking about. But anyways, yeah. I totally forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, what movies and stuff. But yeah, speaking of movies and shit like that, Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, besides the fact they have a huge cast for it,
even John C. Reilly's in that movie.
Do you know who the hell's playing Rocket Raccoon?
No.
I have to say, I know a lot of people hate that character for some reason, probably because it's a talking raccoon. I fucking love that character. I think he's just awesome. It's like he's a homicidal raccoon who has like an Australian accent. I'm like, what the fuck's not to like about that?
Yeah,
it's not like the squirrel thing with the Green Lantern, where apparently there's like that alternate thing where a squirrel gets the ring instead of Hal Jordan and becomes the next Green Lantern. Oh, that thing's fucking stupid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're really touting this movie and they're trying to really get this off the ground. I don't know. I'm not really excited for it. I'm gonna have that wait and see. I'm gonna wait to see the first trailer, then make my opinion on it.
I mean, it doesn't come out for like another year or so.
And then also, Robert Downey Jr. is basically telling Marvel that they are his bitch and they will pay him anything he wants. Because like you mentioned there, Nick, you posted up on your Facebook saying he's going to be there until Avengers 3. Which is awesome. Good. Which makes me wonder if they're going to do an Iron Man 4, or if they're just going to say, yeah, we're going to wait for everyone else to catch up on their movies. And just let him maybe make cameos or something, you know.
And I don't know. I mean, I think I read somewhere that they are trying to make Iron Man 4.
That dog's just such an asshole sometimes. Anyways, yeah. If they make an Iron Man 4, who would you want to see as the villain? Me, I got mine in hand. But I want to know who you'd want to see. I mean,
I don't know.
As you and I both talked about, we think they kind of fucked up the Mandarin in the third one, so he's done. Of course he's done, you know. I have mine, and mine was even at that panel we did at Comic-Con. Fing Fam Foom.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I want him, because in all three of the Iron Man movies, it has still been him fighting guys with science. You know, it's always been guys there's never been just supernatural shit. And they've introduced supernatural shit into the universe. So I'm like, well, why don't just have Fing Fam Foom? You can give him a different, backstory or something. Maybe it comes from one of the realms that Thor looks after or something. And then maybe, and then Iron Man has to fight a bunch of fucking dragons. I mean, that sounds so goddamn cool. It's unreal. I mean, I don't know who else he has to fight. I mean, I'm trying to think of who else they would fight, but I don't know.
I think it'd be awesome if, now that they've introduced the shared universe, have everyone have their own standalone movies, but still have the other heroes make cameos in it.
That would be awesome, yeah.
Just like the comics do. Like, even if they don't completely help out through the story, they can just drop in, say hi.
Hey, how's it going? I know, that's something that does kind of get weird. I mean, granted, that's more because, say if you brought Chris Evans into the next Hulk movie, you're going to have to pay Chris Evans quite a bit of money. So I think it's more of a budget issue than more than anything. You think they would just want to do it just for fun or something, but I don't know. Every time one of these movies comes around, Jesus Christ, they have to always fight over fucking money. It's ridiculous. Because even every other person in the Avengers is getting paid more now. I mean, the Avengers it's gonna make an assload of money, Avengers 2, but,
That's not set to come out till
really?
2015.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, they still, 2014, or is it 2013 Thor's coming out? It's 2014.
It's 13. It comes out in November.
I'm excited for that fucking movie. This is something I'm loving though, Nick, is, we, for a long time, even in the 90s and stuff, we really didn't get too many, like, late 90s, we got Blade and the first Spider-Man. But superheroes were, like, nothing for a while. I mean, well, I guess we got the cheesy-ass Batmans that I fucking loathe. But, I mean, we really, I'm loving this, like, superheroes are the great thing to be right now. They're all of a sudden, they're cool. Because, hell, you and I saw at the Iron Man 3 premiere, there was a lot of douchebags there. I was like, fuck, hey, guys, this isn't the newest Hangover. What the fuck you guys doing here?
By the way, little correction for you. Spider-Man came out in 2002.
I thought it was 1999 Spider-Man came out. Huh.
Nope.
I guess you're...
I think X-Men came out in 99.
Huh.
Yeah, X-Men was like the first Marvel movie, like, of the last new generation.
Yeah, it is kind of funny because actually the first successful movie of comics they said was ever made was actually The Blades, which oddly enough David S. Goyer wrote those. I did not know that until I looked it up. But yeah, they say The Blades were the first ones where people are like, whoa, a superhero can be dark.
He also wrote Ghost Rider though, so I mean, he wrote both Ghost Riders. He's had his ups and downs.
Really big ups, and I hate to say, Ghost Rider. Well, honestly, Ghost Rider's kind of a dumbass character. I don't like Ghost Rider, but yeah,
I don't either. I don't even like Daredevil.
I like Daredevil. I don't think that one movie they made sucked ass, but I like Daredevil. I read one of it. I actually only read one of his comics. But I just think he's an interesting character. But honestly, I've made this joke 100,000 times. But a blind man who can see is just a normal human being.
Yeah, he's You know what he is? He's Nightwing with a gimmick.
Yeah, he is. But to my knowledge, yeah, he's not afraid to be out in daytime either, which I thought is cool. But I don't know. I think it's kind of cool that they actually, you actually have a blind superhero.
I just think it's sad that there's actually an old 70s Marvel comic arc where Doom decides to trade bodies with a superhero, and he chooses Daredevil.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't choose somebody who, like, can't be killed or something,
Or someone who can see. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Because, Daredevil had to train to be able to see. It wasn't just honestly, I can see now.
It wasn't just like, yeah.
And you think Doom would be like, holy shit, I forgot he's blind.
Like, damn it. Son of a bitch. Just running into walls.
And in that comic, you'd think that, Daredevil, who wakes up with the ability to see in Doom's body, would just be like, oh god, what, it's so bright.
Yeah, I know, honestly. Hold on one second. Alright, yeah, sorry. I'm gonna shut that asshole up. Yeah, it is kind of like, comic books aren't always golden, let's put it that way. It's just like some of those stories where you're just like, wow, really?
But I have to say, what they're doing now, like the direction comics are taking now, I am on board completely.
I've been hearing really great things about the New 52 with DC. I really haven't heard much with, Marvel and what they're doing.
All I can say, the Uncanny Avengers is awesome.
Well, let's talk about the Uncanny Avengers a little bit. Describe what's going on in that right now.
Well, okay, basically, and I haven't been able to keep up with it since I left the Springs a month ago, but basically what was going on was the Avengers and the X-Men trying to make everyone feel better because of what transpired in the event of Avengers versus X-Men.
So they're trying to reconcile what happened.
Yeah, in the Uncanny Avengers, it's basically the aftermath of the Phoenix Five going crazy and destroying most of the world.
That's pretty awesome.
And making mutants start reappearing everywhere because the Scarlet Witch used her powers to get rid of 95% of mutants.
That pissed off Magneto.
Yeah, well. And so in Uncanny Avengers, and also the all new X-Men, which is taking place during the same time. Scott Summers, Cyclops, Magneto, and Emma Frost are going around wrangling up all these new X-Men or the new mutants to train them to fight against the humans. Basically, Cyclops is the new Magneto.
Well, Magneto's still there though.
Yeah, he's still there, but Cyclops is the leader now.
So Cyclops is turning dark again.
Oh yeah, no, he's evil.
Well, think about it. If you were a different type of species. Okay, if Nick, you're Hawaiian. If 95% of all Hawaiians went off the face of the earth, and you knew that somebody caused that, you'd be a little pissed off.
Yeah, well.
If 95% of the white people left the earth, everyone would be happy.
Anyway, in the Uncanny Avengers, there's also, they're trying, the Avengers are trying to work with, Alex Summers, also known as Havoc, who is, Scott Summers' brother. They're trying to work with him to get mutant relations back up, but the problem is, Red Skull comes around, possesses, using Charles Xavier's brain, who Cyclops killed, to persuade people to hate mutants. So basically, in the Marvel Universe right now, you kind of got a mutant war going on between, the humans and the mutants, and the Avengers kind of caught in the middle. Also, the Marvel Riders of the Apocalypse are working around, and King the Conqueror is pulling strings.
Holy shit. See, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna be honest. But you could never do that type of shit in a movie.
Oh yeah, no, that is way
too high scale. That's way too complicated. That's,
yeah, because you get like, in the Uncanny Avengers, you got, and even all new X-Men, you got, not just the main Avengers, but all the Avengers working with all the X-Men. And bringing in all the other people like Kang the Conqueror.
You got them, and then you got the Horsemen. I mean, that'd be awesome though. But
yeah, like Apocalypse and Doomsday and all them.
Yeah,
the Marvel versions, obviously.
But yeah, that would be awesome. I've been meaning to find a comics like a new series to get into and just like do what you were doing with the Deadpools and just have them reserved and just get them issue by issue.
I would recommend the Uncanny Avengers.
I would get into that. How many issues are they on right now?
All new. I think like 9. Okay. 9 or 12.
One's a little bit more pricey than the other. But
All New X-Men is really good too. Because that's basically that one. Like it's taking place same time, but at the X-Men school and their side of the story. And what happened is, in an attempt to show present day Cyclops what he's turned into, Beast went back in time and gathered up all the original X-Men and brought them to our time. And they're trying to fit in, basically.
The X-Men from the 70s.
Yeah, you got teen Cyclops and Jean Grey's back, cause in the Marvel Universe now she's dead.
That's what you gotta love about comics, is how many times they can kill somebody, re-kill them.
Well, I mean, she's dead, but, her teenage version that is just learning about her telepathy powers is back, and, everyone's trying to avoid the topic, but she, since she can read minds, she figures out, like, oh my god, I'm dead. And she doesn't want to go back in time to their time and live life knowing she's gonna die, so she's staying here.
I figured as much. Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, that sounds awesome. I've read a couple of X-Men comics, never been really into them. For the most part, sounds awesome. I'm actually going to try to get into Uncanny Avengers, though. Whenever I get around to actually going down to the comic shop.
First, you got to read AVX.
All right. How many issues of that are there? Okay.
12.
Easy. That's easy.
Yeah, it's just a little 12-story arc to set up for all these new comics that are out.
The worst one, though, that I really just never liked, even just the premise of it pisses me off, was World War Hulk.
Oh, fuck that
the movie and the storyline of him going back and just beating up every superhero. Granted, I don't think that's canon. I don't know if that was...
Yeah, no, you know what character did it right? Was
Deadpool. Goes around killing every superhero?
Yeah, because the voice in his head told him to.
Oh yeah, Deadpool.
And then, of course, being Deadpool, not afraid to break the barriers, goes to all the other multiverses and starts killing those versions of the heroes. And then goes back to classic literature and starts killing those people.
Oh, see, that is awesome. See, if you're gonna do something where if one character's taking out the entire universe, have fun with it.
I just think it's like with the Deadpool one, he learned he actually does legitimately go around killing people, but then he learns if he uses the Puppet Master, he can just make all of them just commit suicide by making voodoo dolls of them, so he just has them throw themselves off a building.
Huh. Which makes me wonder why the Puppet Master never did that himself. No.
Because he's not dark and sadistic like Deadpool.
Oh, God. Since we got some time to kill with this, first off, we'll stick with Marvel right now. Just get our favorite shit out of the way. What is your favorite hero in the Marvel Universe?
Well, for your own hero, I'm going to say Captain America.
That's the same as mine. People always question me why Captain America. They're like, it's just a dude. I got in this big old argument with a guy who, he he was kind of like rubbing Iron Man's nutsack, and I'm like, dude, that's just because you like the movies, isn't it? But yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm a big Iron Man fan, all this blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I like Captain America. I know what Captain America was made for, kind of anti-Nazi propaganda.
Yeah, he was the first
he was
superhero.
The first superhero. He's the only superhero to fight a real live villain of punching Hitler in the face. So, yeah, there you go there. But he was just fucking, I don't know. I never, I've read the new stuff of him. I never read the campy shit they made out in the 40s and 50s. But, he was really, for a long time, he was just used as something. Because once World War II was over, when the Cold War, he started fighting Russians. And he had, like, Captain Russia or something, which was an enemy of his he had to fight. And,
And the Winter Soldier.
Which became much better villain. But, who's actually going to be the villain in the new one, but yada, yada, yada. We all know this. I just like him. He's just a character who seems like, yeah, he's a super soldier, but he's
still, he's not cocky. He's not, up in the clouds. He's just a down-to-earth guy from Brooklyn.
He really reminds me of ha ha, come here, fair lady. He's the really goody-goody superhero. But, he's just the one I like. I really can't explain why. Because even in the Marvel Civil War, I was just hoping to God he would win. And then when I got to the end and he doesn't win at all, I'm like, aw, man.
Forgot, I have Captain America's, decor all over my room.
I have the cardboard cutout of Captain America, so.
Yeah, you have that. I have a shield hanging on my wall, a little tin poster, a piggy bank, another poster.
Right. Yeah, as you can see, we're two Captain America fanboys. I have to say, though, in the Avengers, didn't care for the way they made his outfit, though. I don't think any.
Yeah, no, me either.
They're revamping his outfit for the new movie to look a little bit better. But.
Yeah, it looked decent in, Captain America, but. Because that looked more like the ultimate Captain America outfit.
I don't know. I'm really traditional.
But the Avengers, I don't know. As you probably saw in Captain America, it doesn't really work so well.
Oh yeah, I know. Honestly.
Live action.
I was, one of the early issues of the Ultimate Universe, Captain America actually cuts a dude in half with a shield. He actually slams it down on the ground, cuts somebody in half, and I was like, fuck, I really want a violent Captain America thing. I want to just see a violent Captain America comic or movie, game, whatever. I want to see where, he's not afraid to kill people. I just want to see his shield just get a little sharp or something. When he's throwing that shield at, like, Hydra and shit, he's breaking necks. That thing is hard. It's, it deflects bullets. If he hits you in the face with it, you're gonna be messed up looking. I know.
You're gonna have some
Captain
issues.
Captain America broke most of my teeth, broke my nose, and I can't look straight. It's awesome. Okay, least favorite hero.
Least favorite? I'd have to. I don't know. That's a toughie. Because there's a few I don't like, but I don't know about least favorite.
One that you don't. Alright, I'm trying to think.
Especially if we're just hero.
We'll get into the villains next.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of Nova. I'll say that.
Nova, okay, Nova.
Nova.
Nope, still losing him. Who the hell's Nova?
Is the dude? He's the human rocket. So he's
basically. I'm trying to think
what
he is.
I don't know.
He's Marvel.
I don't know how to describe.
Okay. Yeah,
he is.
Remember him for.
Okay. Or Vision. I do not like Vision. No, wait. What? Just thought of the one I really can't stand.
Okay, yeah.
Wasp.
I understand Wasp completely. Yeah, she's up there with ones I really can't fucking stand. I have what?
I mean, what's her power? She has the powers of a bee. Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh,
she
so
kind
scary.
of annoys the living shit out of me. I'm not the biggest fan of her. I'm also not a biggest fan of Falcon. I think Falcon's kind of
Yeah,
lame
okay,
because
yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck what is he? I mean, he's just a dude that flies around dressed like a falcon and fights people with his fist. Like, I've read one like one of the issues. It was the aftermath after Captain America's dead. It's one of those issues of Captain America, and they had Falcon in it. And Falcon didn't do a goddamn thing. He flew above Bucky the whole time and just talking to him. He's like, oh yeah, I saw this clone of Captain America, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I kind of wanted Bucky just to stop and be like, dude, you're fucking useless. You're a guy with a glide suit on. People who hang glide have your powers. Like, you can't do a shit. It's really kind of bugs me. And that's why he's one of my least favorite characters. Because I'm like...
That is...
Yeah,
well,
heroes.
we're just talking heroes, though.
Villains on the Marvel side for me, it's Doctor Doom.
Oh, yeah. Doctor Doom is up there with one of my favorite villains.
He has his own country. And he's fucking awesome. And the movies and everything else has not done him any good. I think he is an awesome character.
Oh, yeah, because he is dark and sadistic and a genius.
He's a villain. He's a big enough villain, in my opinion, to take on such, like, heroes like the Avengers and all that shit. That's why he fights the worst team ever. The Fantastic Four. I can't stand them.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing honestly, like, I was reading something earlier talking about how Sue Storm is, like, legitimately retarded. Yeah, in the comics, back in the old days, there were several occasions where she caused traffic accidents because she crossed the street and forgot she was invisible. And when she saw a car coming towards her, because, she's invisible, they can't see her, she made herself visible again, and the dude freaked out and swerved into traffic to avoid her.
Barrier ability and just make them crash.
Yeah, she didn't used to have that. Also, there were times where she'd forget that, she wasn't wearing her magic or her special, like, suit that turned invisible with her. So she tried to turn invisible and her clothes would stay. And then, the bad guys, I wonder where she could be.
Became all empowering and stuff. This is probably,
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
this was back in, like, the 70s.
Okay. I could see that. They're still trying to, they're undermining her for being a woman type thing. They're like, look how stupid she is. Let's see her get behind a moving vehicle now. No. Oh, yeah. Wait, who's your favorite villain?
Well, honestly, I've always been a big Magneto fan. And then, like I was saying earlier, in the new issues, I really like the, like, evil
Scott Summers. Because, you think Scott Summers, automatically I think Goody Two-Shoe.
Yeah, exactly. But, he's one of those villains where you can see where he's coming from. He's taking the wrong approach.
I always thought Magneto was one of those things where I could join his brotherhood because he's not just a murderous dick where he's just like, I must murder you because I'm bored. He's fighting for his people. He's really kind of like a Malcolm X.
Yeah, that's what, it's X-Men's always to me basically been a metaphor for like Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King.
Completely. Where Charles Xavier's always been like Martin Luther King,
Which that's what it was supposed to be.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for slavery, racial discrimination.
That's been the whole thing. I'm really excited to get that. I'm kind of, God damn it, Nick. Now I'm like really tempted just to buy all those issues right now of all that crap you've been talking about. Because that made me excited to want to read that. But like, that sounds fucking awesome.
And, AVX is like $30 for the entire volume.
I will have to look for that. If anything, guys, I did a lot of driving around today, so I don't really feel like going down to the comic shop today anyways. But I might just try to look on the internet and see if I can find it for like 30 or whatever. Yeah.
So there's always
That's what you gotta love about this day and age, where people back in the day used to have to drive to comic shops. Yeah, I know.
Who's
Worst villain. Marvel.
Worst villain in Marvel? I would probably have to say
Really?
Kingpin.
Okay, I
He
liked
doesn't do anything.
You know, Kingpin always reminded me of like the Jabba the Hutt type character, where
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I don't know.
yeah,
It's tricky. Actually, I will say one of my favorite Marvel villains, now that I remember, and I mentioned earlier, Kang. Kang's awesome.
oh, King the
Yeah,
Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm Hobgoblin personally. I like the Hobgoblin a lot. Yeah,
I do too. Even and the Green Goblin, but
I
more
like
Hobgoblin because he's
for the
insane.
sole fact of they still never, to my knowledge, they still never said who the hell he was. Like they kind of basically they did it a couple times where like Spider-Man would remove the mask and be like, "It's so and so," and then later on they would be like, "No, it wasn't." They would like do this whole like switcheroo right there where they're like a couple issues later be like, "Oh, by the way, so and so wasn't a Hobgoblin. It's no one knows who the hell this guy is," and I'm like, that is fucking awesome. I'm a big fan. Actually, Spider-Man has better villains than a character, in my opinion, because he has some kick-ass villains, and then Spider-Man himself. I don't hate Spider-Man, but I just.
See, I like Spider-Man.
You know, I'm just not into him as much as I guess everybody else is. I'm like, I'd rather see other things. I'm trying to think of the villain I think is just fucking retarded. Oh, shit. That is kind of hard. I don't know. Rhino is kind of lame.
Rhino is really lame.
He's gonna be in the new movie as Paul Giamatti. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah,
that. Paul Giamatti's gonna be the Rhino, and then Jamie Foxx, of course, is gonna be Electro. And I'm like, first of all, really already, guys? You're already doing the two villain thing?
Well, that's what I feel like. Since Rhino's really retarded, they're just gonna have him in there. Maybe it's like an intro villain.
Though.
Have him defeat him.
That's not a small name.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope they don't do what the last Spider-Man movies did and just ruin
that was
it.
The problem. Like the Spider-Man 3, it had too many goddamn villains, is what it had. It's like, oh, he's fighting Green Goblin, his friend, and now Sandman. Wait, Venom. Oh, I'm just like, fucking A. You know, it would have been a better movie if maybe they just did the 2-1. If they didn't try to do 3. If maybe he's just fighting. It was him and Harry fighting each other for the first half or something, or for majority of it, while we're seeing like Sandman. Honestly, someone made an excellent point saying if they wanted to do a Venom in a movie, they should have introduced him in the movie beforehand, and then had an entire movie about him being the villain. Not halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now Venom's created, and no, they should have had Spider-Man 2, if they wanted Venom in 3, have him get the black suit, fighting Dr. Ock, and at the end of that, introduce Venom, and then have 3 be about him versus Venom.
Yeah, and avoid the whole emo Peter Parker thing, because that was...
And, yeah, originally Sam Raimi wanted to do a Sandman and Vulture movie. And...
Okay, that would just been god-awful.
Sandman's okay, I like Sandman. Vulture is fucking stupid. Talk about another villain who just, you know who Vulture should fight? The Falcon. Because those two are a perfect match for each other. They're like, oh, I can glide, so can I. I was like, you guys are perfect for each other. You guys flap your arms to fly. Anyways. Yeah, it's basically the only villains I can think of that are pretty fucking lame are some of the Spider-Man ones, really, at this point in time. It's like Rhino, Vulture, Toad. Toad's gonna Toad.
Who's?
Yeah.
Yeah, Toad's really lame. Also, I will say, what's his name? Cyclone's really... Is that the dude with the tornado abilities?
Lame too. I'm also not the biggest fan of MODOK. I don't really like MODOK.
Well, it's because he's just Mr. Potato Head wannabe.
The Mr. Potato Head doesn't bother me. The fact that he looks like a transvestite Mr. Potato Head is what bugs me.
Especially in Marvel vs. Capcom, where you can get him to wear, like, geisha makeup.
Sometimes that dude looks like he's wearing lipstick. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? But, yeah, anyways, it was just weird. That's always been a weird villain for me. I'm also a fan of, they're hinting at in the movies that Ultron, I think with probably the Ant-Man movie, they might introduce Ultron as a villain.
Yeah, I hope they introduce Ultron, because I really like Ultron.
I think he's awesome because, he's basically another version of a Marvel Terminator,
Oh, yeah, and, I will say, the only problem with Ultron is if they introduce Ultron, that means they introduce Vision eventually. Oh, probably. I mean, they might just get rid of that altogether, but...
They always change how the shit happens, so...
Yeah. That is one comic arc I want to try to read. The 10-book arc of the Age of Ultron.
That too. I'd want to read the Age of Ultron. I have a few of them I'd want to read. I want to finish getting all the Civil War ones. I want to get the ones you were talking about, the ones with the X-Men versus Avengers and all that shit. Yeah, Marvel has quite a few good ones. We're gonna skip DC for right now because I like to keep these in an hour, and we got about 10 minutes, so we're going to not talk about DC stuff. We're going to stick strictly with Marvel at this current point in time. Yeah,
we'll talk about DC later.
Weekly show, and no, we will not have a set date because, as Nick pointed out, he works sporadic days, so it's whenever.
Although I will say, like I've mentioned, I love Deadpool.
Oh, of course.
And I know you do too, but Deadpool doesn't fit into either category, so yeah, he doesn't. Honorable mention.
He is an anti-hero in my opinion. He is he's not really a hero, but he's a mercenary. He's been a villain in a few issues, and he's been the hero in some of his own issues. But
yeah, I mean, as the new Deadpool storyline points out, he will do bad things, but he likes being the hero.
The issue I hated, I really didn't care for, was the one that the one I read of yours.
The one I specifically told you was boring.
Honestly, people, when they make Deadpool serious, it's terrible. When he starts getting all emotional and serious and talking about his long lost love or whatever, I'm like, dude, fucking, I don't know. I'm reading Deadpool. You're supposed to be making jokes and stuff. If I want something serious, I'll be reading The Watchmen. Okay? I'm not gonna, go to hell.
Yeah, no, the Deadpool they've got going now is great.
Yeah, I'll get around to borrowing some of your issues and just finishing reading those.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for God's sake, there's an issue where they actually parody that old Coke commercial with the football player, where some kid comes up and wants an autograph, and Deadpool just tells him to scram, and as the kid's pouting and crying away, Deadpool just takes off his blood-ridden mask and he's hey kid, and he throws it at him, and it turns out the kid is a hemophobe, which means he's afraid of blood, and since the mask is covered in Deadpool's blood, it lands on his face and just oozes down his face covered in blood, and the kid starts freaking out and crying away, and Deadpool's like, another customer satisfied.
I like Deadpool a lot. And then next week you will hopefully, I don't know, next week it depends. You're of course you're buying the Deadpool game launch, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I pre-ordered that shit on Amazon. It's coming in Tuesday.
We'll probably get a review from Nick of Deadpool, the video game. So, yeah, we'll continue on with our talks about, comics and stuff like that shit too. That's, it's funny as hell because I kick myself in the butt because I wasn't even a fan of Deadpool until after I saw the Origins movie, which I thought, like, that's Deadpool, that's kind of lame, until I later realized who Deadpool was. Because I didn't really start getting into comics until about halfway through, maybe towards the end of my junior year of high school. So, so I kind of...
see, me, I found Deadpool way back in the days of,
okay.
Ultimate Alliance.
I saw him back in the days of Ultimate Alliance, but I had no idea who he was. It was one of those things where I was actually, when we were at Comic-Con, I was tempted to buy an issue of Moon Knight, just to see who the fuck that character is, because you never hear anything about Moon Knight. Never.
Other than he has, like, the powers of Captain America, Wolverine, and Thor.
How that?
Yeah. Like, he flies around on Captain America's shield, has Wolverine's claws, and I'm pretty sure he has Thor's hammer.
Now I'm really tempted to find out who the fuck this character is, because I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I mean, he looks cool.
Well, there's a nice, cheap way to do it.
If only I had this thing called the internet, where I can simply just search. Yeah, I know.
Look up his wiki.
Search to see who this being is. It's just one of those things I haven't gotten around to doing. God, what a fun time about that Comic-Con thing. Yeah. Oh God, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else we can add to this week's show, because we only got a few minutes left, so I don't need to get into big old deep conversation.
Which is hard, because usually everything we talk about ends up in a deep conversation.
Short, folks. Let's see here. Oh, first of all, I have to say, first half of The Watchmen, really good, of the books, of course. I'm exactly halfway through the books, and it's really good. It's really close to that movie. I'm still trying to figure out what people had a problem with that movie of. I was like, Zack Snyder basically did this no for no. He did the beginning a little different, because in the beginning of the comics, you know how at the beginning of the movie, there's just the comedian gets killed. Well, no, the comedian gets killed, you in the middle, and then the police are talking about it afterwards. In the comics, they're doing it simultaneously. So you'll see comedian fighting the mystery guy, and then the police talking about it, and then for a couple more panels, and then they show another panel, comedian getting his ass kicked, a couple more panels, and it just kind of goes back and forth. And then they also in the comics, they do this interesting thing of, they talk more about a couple things. First off, they don't call them the Watchmen in the comics. They're just Minutemen. They're never called the Watchmen. That's something Snyder did for blank reasons. I think it just sounds better, to be honest.
Well, the Minutemen are the old ones.
Comics, they're never called the Watchmen. They are literally...
I don't think they're ever called the Watchmen in the movies either.
The thing says who watches the Watchmen type thing and all that crap. So they do kind of call them the Watchmen. They don't berate it around, but yeah, they do kind of do it. But they actually get into more in-depth stories. Like it's not really even a comic story. It's just kind of like a news printing of, who is this Minuteman? And they're basically talking about, I totally forgot who the hell they're talking about right now. My short-term memory shit, probably from all the TV games I play, but yeah, they basically get into depth with some of the characters that they don't talk about in the movies, of course, because they're the older ones, so who gives a shit?
Oh, yeah. You mean the ones that they just gloss over in the
the ones they gloss over.
Montage.
They kind of give them more of a backstory, and I think that's kind of cool, because those are the ones I was interested in. I was like, you know what, I'm interested in that. And then they just released recently the issues before the Watchmen.
Yeah, which is basically just all the old Minutemen.
I was tempted to buy those. I have to admit. I was tempted to buy those. Like, fuck, I kind of want to read that, but I don't want to read anything about Mothman, because what a stupid fucking hero. Granted, he gets thrown in an insane asylum, and that would be interesting to see why, but stupid. Or the lesbian
or that
one,
lesbian bitch.
Or even, hold on. I have the comic right here. I have to figure out who the fuck this guy's name is. I would like to know more about the comedian too, which they do give a little bit more backstory on the comedian, like saying how during that time he was more of a sidekick, I guess you could say. Hooded Justice. That's who the fuck I was thinking of. Yeah, they give kind of way more backstory on the Hooded Justice, and
is that the executioner dude with the noose around his neck?
They give him a little bit more backstory and all that. But they stick really... The thing is, maybe because I saw the movie before I read the comic, it seems like I'm really making a lot of good comparisons to it. Like, I'm a little bit past... I got to the point where... what's his butt? Dr. Manhattan. He goes to Mars, and he's talking about his past right now. And he's giving his whole thing about his past, and almost done with his past. And, it's just one of those things where, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And once I'm done, I'll let you borrow it, and you can read the whole thing. And you'll probably be quicker at it than I am, because honestly, I'm a little slow at reading them. Another one I'm kind of interested in reading is the one Dustin's talking about.
Oh, that one? Yeah. I can even borrow that from Walter
or something.
Yeah, so because I was just looking, I wasn't even reading. I was just looking through the panels, and I was like, "This looks really interesting."
This is one of those comics that would be sealed if you're at a bookstore or whatever. It's one of those things. Which honestly, now I just thought of it, I can just go to fucking Borders or Barnes and Nobles, and they have the big the big things there.
Yeah, they're also a lot more expensive.
They're not more expensive than anywhere else. That's where, alright, whatever. Anyways, we got that, and then, Dustin was telling me it's a really good sci-fi thing. That's really heavy on sci-fi, and I'm like, that's interesting. It looked kind of weird to me, but I would be willing to give it a shot. I mean, if it's interesting enough, I'm willing to give it a shot. Anything else you want to add, comic book related? Yep, me neither. This is our first episode. I'm still trying to figure out how this is going to go down. So, in time to come, we will know. It'd be helped, though, when I actually can find more news that has to deal with comics and less news to deal with movies. So, hooray! This is our first episode of Men Without Tights. That's kind of a weird thing, because I'm thinking of Men Without Hats right now. We can dance if we want to. If I can get that as our theme song without... it wouldn't be a problem, really. But since we don't make any money, I think YouTube would probably eventually give me a warning, a cease and desist or something like that. You guys can't do that. That's copyright. Oh, fuck your copyright. If I'm making money, it's copyright. All right? Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's our show, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. If not, fuck you. If so, thank you. Like us on Facebook, visit our website at bloodyscreen.weebly.com, and if there's anything comic related we missed, or if you just want to talk to us about comics, let us know. Hit us up in the comments section. Goddamn. I almost said comics section. Yeah, anyways. I'm running low on juice. Anyways, good night, everybody.